Hey guys, it's Alicia. I'm refilming this for the second time because the first time I was too rambly. So, hi again. So today, you've seen in the title, I am going to be talking about my experience as a deaf young woman, and basically my journey that I have went on to get to where I am now, filming videos about hearing loss, because I didn't start off this way, very obviously. But yes, that's the video today. Real quick, a couple of things. First of all, as you can tell, my channel is getting more onto a schedule. So you'll be seeing videos about once a week. Actually, yeah, once a week, because it just works best with my school schedule, because I'm only going 2 to 3 days a week. This just works. I can't say a specific date because I'm not at school for the same days every week. So yeah, it's gonna be very random, but you can guarantee a video every week. And one more thing, this video is my journey. It's my experience. It will be different from yours, and that's okay. If you relate to my story in the least bit and this makes you feel less alone, connected in some way to what you're hearing, that's my goal. And if it helps you in some way, perfect. Yeah. So let's go with the video, shall we? Okay, so to start off, my grade 4 year is when I found out I was deaf. My school was doing audiology tests for the students, just to make sure there was no complications or anything like that. And I failed in my right ear. And the lady just sort of looked at me and went, "We're deaf." As simple as that. A note was sent home to my mom. I was like, "Oh, she's deaf." That was, yeah. For me, it was just complete and total shock. I don't think I was really thinking anything else but that shock. Yeah, what else do you think when you get told you're deaf in 1 year? You look at the audiologist a little funny and go, "Oh, okay." I didn't say anything to her. I just looked at her in confusion. So yeah, my mom took me to the audiologist and we confirmed, yeah, she's profoundly deaf in 1 ear. The best option for her is hearing aids. So grade 4 was the process of getting my hearing aids, which is in the least bit nerve-wracking. I was very nervous to get my hearing aids. I was scared of how people would look at it, how I would be treated, all of that, and if I would be accepted by my class, basically. I was lucky enough to get the complete opposite, and people were curious. When are you getting your hearing aids? Will it be soon? When are you getting them? They were excited for me, though I didn't know the full repercussion of what would happen later. They were excited for me, which was a good thing. But the nervousness of what people would think of me, I think, is stemmed through our history as humans. For this video, I went and dug a little bit and figured out what I could find on just disabilities as a whole and how these people are treated in the past, to see why our community is treated just like a little bit differently now, because we are. And as a person who has a disability, and I'm sure many of you maybe even can relate, there is a difference in how you're treated, and it is difficult. The emotions surrounding these disabilities and how people look at it are many. There's pity, fear, uneasiness, guilt, sympathy, sometimes respect. It's a lot, really. But it's not the way, looking at the history of how we were treated as a community kind of did break my heart. I looked at just different time periods, and in different cultures, these people, if they were children, would be literally kicked out of their own homes, abandoned by their families, and left on the streets by themselves. Some communities had homes for them where they could stay, like a rehabilitation home, I'm not really sure, type thing. We were not treated the best in any sense, really. I won't get into full detail because it did sadden me a bunch. You can look into it if you want. It's a good read, I suppose, but it is sad. It just shows why our community now is so hesitant with these disabilities, and that is out of the it's just that it's not educated on. The only reason that people do have fear over disabilities is because it isn't educated. You don't hear about these things in your classes. You don't learn about these things in school. You don't meet a disabled person all the time. And if it's something like blindness, which depending on the case can be less obvious, or hearing loss, it's not noticeable. Unless you are fully deaf and you're doing sign language and all that, yeah, then it's pretty obvious. But if you're me, you're deaf in one ear, you can still talk, you can still hear, it's not as obvious, and the assumptions then come in, and those are stereotypes, and these things all just come into play. Yeah, we're gonna stop there. But yeah, there's a lot. So yeah, grade 4 was my year of getting hearing aids, which I did. And then, so my mom had me wear them for a little bit, for me to be used to them. But then when grade 5, 6 hit, both years really, I did not wear my hearing aids for a full 2 years. And I think, and I really do believe, it was out of fear. I wanted to be normal. I didn't want to be deaf. Normal. I wanted to be like every other kid. I didn't want this difference, even though we're all different. I didn't want to be that different. I wanted that sense of normalcy and not have this bump in the road, I suppose, that was causing me to just be different than the rest of my class. And I think that was all it is. I didn't want to be known as the deaf girl. Not that I ever have been. I think I'm proud of that, but I'm not. There's more to me than just being the deaf girl in class. And that's the same with all of you. You're not just the deaf boy, the deaf girl. You're your own person, and you have a personality, and your disability does not define you. And it took me forever to realize that. Yeah, grade 5, 6 was not my year though. When grade 7 hit, I did eventually decide, okay, we're gonna wear my hearing aids for the entire grade 7 year. It's gonna be great. And oh boy, was I wrong. In grade 7, yes, I wore my hearing aids. I wore my hearing aids to school. But my class was a split of grade 7, 8, and there was 30 kids, and they were very loud, talkative, chatty. Everyone was friends. And because I was just ever so shy, I was, for most of my elementary school, quite the shy kid. I didn't say much to my teacher. I would tell her, I'm getting a headache, it's too loud in here, type thing. And she understood why. She knew I was deaf. But because of my, I guess, unwillingness to communicate, and I don't blame her for saying this. I mean, considering how my class was, it's fine. I've gotten better at it though. She would say, be quiet, you're hurting Alicia. Um, hmm. And I really would just want to be like sucked into the ground, just get me out of the classroom, because everyone would then turn to me with almost like death glares. And I would just feel so awkward. I kind of would just bow my head and hope, like, oh my gosh, let the moment end, because it was very embarrassing. It wasn't fun to be the deaf kid in that year. Yeah. It And grade 7 is when the emotional struggle for me really, I think, did hit. I started to get emotions that I didn't know how to handle with and never told anyone, so I couldn't handle them. But I remember I'm a very calm person. I don't get angry, and my friends will tell you that if you meet them. But I did. I was angry at myself for being different, for being unique. I didn't want to be deaf. I was like, why? Why am I like this? Why am I the deaf girl in my class? Why was that the case? And I didn't like it. And I was already such an emotional mess, really. Grade 7 is like that awkward year, right? And there's a lot going on already. You're like 12, 13, maybe 14. And there's just a lot going on in general. You're starting to grow up. So just it being an awkward year did not help that I was so ever so self-conscious and going through this emotional struggle of not liking who I was as a person. Really did make it difficult. I had little to no confidence in that year, which did cause me to go through a period of being the outcast. In a way, I use that term lightly. I was very much almost a loner, and though I did have a group of friends that I could talk to and hang out with, I didn't say much during their conversations. In that year, my class was quite obsessed with boy bands and music and boys as a total. I was not. I've always been more girly in a way. I love my art, my books. That was my thing. It always has been. So I did feel very left out, and I wasn't very sporty. Still, I'm not really. So yeah, I did sort of go through this awkward period of being alone. And grade 8 was generally the same. We were still split, grade 7, 8, but our class was divided a little bit more evenly, and I only had about 15 kids in my class. Though it was smaller, we did join up a lot, so it was still loud. And it was still not easy, and the same problem as grade 7, I didn't talk. I didn't share my story. I didn't tell people what I needed from them, which did make my life difficult. In the long run, looking back, I can tell, Alicia, if I could go back and tell myself one thing, it'd be, you are unique, and that's okay. You'll get through. I promise. There's a light at the end of the tunnel, and it will be fine. And open up. Tell them what you need. You'll have such a better school year if you just share your story with the world, which I did not. Yeah, I didn't open up, which was the main struggle for grade 7 and 8. But then high school hit, and through the nervousness of, oh my gosh, high school, they're supposed to be like the craziest 4 years of your life or something like that. I don't know. I was told a bunch of things about high school that I'm not sure what to think of. I was, nervous, obviously, that's normal. And I did begin to open up more about my hearing loss. I was more vocal with my teachers. I did tell them what I needed. I did share, more or less. It wasn't a bunch. It was more along the lines of, okay, so here's what not to do in the class, here's what to do, and please don't say my name when you're telling the class to be quiet. Yeah. And if you want like a teacher thing of what to do, I have a video about that on my channel. It's like called A Teacher's Guide to Hearing Loss. So you can find that, and it should help you if you're a teacher. Yeah, I did make my needs more clear, and I got an FM system. Well, boy, the struggle was real with the FM. It decided not to work that year. It wasn't having it. So, yeah, it wasn't connecting to my hearing aid. It didn't work that year. It was not a good year with the FM. I remember that struggle. Like it was yesterday. I remember that. Yeah, I spent a lot of time with the audiologist that year. Yeah. Grade 10. Grade 10 is when my passion for talking about these things, I think, really did start to show. I started to really break out of my shell, and there were many reasons for that. I was in drama class that year, and through drama class, I did start to break this shell that I had around myself and open up, because I was a main character in the play we were going to do. I'm in a private school, so they were smaller plays, but still a play nonetheless. And it was, yeah, I did open up, and I wanted to do a presentation about unilateral hearing loss for my school, which was a big step up for me. That didn't happen that year, which does lead me to grade 11, sort of. During the middle, I think, of that year, I made a video grade 10. I made a video about hearing loss, the first one I have, that's literally just called Single-Sided Hearing Loss. It goes through really a basic rundown of everything. At that point, I still wasn't that educated. I was starting to educate myself a bit more, though. And then, yeah, I opened up a bit more. Grade 11 was the same. By grade 11, I think I was definitely more vocal. I think that was the year I think I was the most open, other than this year, obviously. Yeah, I don't know how to word it, more vocal. My passion for hearing loss really did start to show. I was becoming okay with myself, and that's great. The hearing loss presentation I still didn't get a chance to do. We just kept running into roadblocks, and there's just never time, which is fine. It's fine. But thoughts about the future started to come into play. This is when, because it's a little bit more, more was needed for me to be able to go through college and stuff. The conversation did start a little bit early, which is probably good. I'm also terrible at making decisions, so I'm glad it started early. Yeah, thoughts about the future came into play, and I was leaning towards art at the time. I love art. It's one of my passions. I enjoy doing it so much. It keeps me calm when I need a calm day. I really do love it. And there was also the thought you could do advocacy. I could be an advocate. I enjoy talking about this topic. I have made a couple of videos on it before. Why not continue on that path? Yeah. And then COVID hit. You all know what happens there. So yeah, school sort of ended for the second semester of my grade 11 year, and we were at home the entire time. So hearing aids just sort of got thrown under the rug, basically, and I did not wear them because I didn't need to. I was on a computer all day. And that leads me to basically the summer of grade 11 to 12, which I am now in grade 12. So we got an email from my school saying that for grade 12, there will be school 2 to 3 days a week, and there will be plexiglass around the desks, and you will have to wear a mask. Now, I have talked about this a bunch in my previous videos. I don't think I need to run down through it again. But yeah, I knew the situation, and I was very vocal with my school about my needs and how to help me as a student throughout this entire period. One of the hardest ones is gym class, because it's just you aren't just facing the teacher and having them talk to you. You're running around and stuff. So yeah, that one is always a difficult one. But I've talked about this. I don't need to repeat myself, I don't think. Yeah, and my passion for hearing loss just has grown this year. As you can see, my channel has begun to gain more videos just about hearing loss. I do enjoy talking about it. It's a topic that does need to be discussed. I hear a lot about bilateral hearing loss, which is great, and I'm glad that it's talked about, and I'm glad that there's a community for it. But single-sided, though there's a community, we're basically a virtual community. I've never met, I still haven't met a person who's like me in person, face to face. Can't right now during COVID, however. But yeah. Yeah. I don't know what else to say. That is basically it, and it leads to now, where I am still continuing to talk about hearing loss and the struggles I face. I really did get lucky. It could have been so much worse, and I recognize that. And if you are struggling in your class, please communicate, open up. It's scary. Yes, I admit it. It is quite scary to talk about these things, because it does make you different. And because it isn't so obvious, you can treat it like it's just there, and it doesn't need to be vocalized because no one can see it. But it does need to be vocalized. The struggle is there. And I think I've mentioned this before. The video I have for a guide to my teacher, to all teachers out there, that was sent to the entire staff at my school for them to learn and help me out in the best they can. Which is great. I got a good response to the video from my teachers, which is always nice. Yeah, open up. Your teachers, they want to help you guys. I promise they do. Those in grade 7, 8, going through the awkward year and having hearing loss, you'll push through. I promise. I did. You will. It's going to be tough. But this is my story. And if it helps you, I'm glad. Let me know what else you want me to talk about in my videos. If you have a question and it's video worthy, let me know. That, or I'll just reply to your comment. One of the two will happen. But yes, please do reach out to me. I enjoy talking to you guys. Yeah, I think that's the video today, guys. I hope you enjoyed. This was very nerve-wracking to talk about my personal story. There's a lot of emotions around hearing loss, and the history is long and intense, and I think I'm probably still going to research it, though. Yeah, there's a lot, though. So, yeah, that is my journey. I will see you guys in the next video. Have a great day or night, depending on where you are in the world. And I'll see you guys next time.